Next up, we have Danielle, who's going to give us an update on legislation and all the stuff that happened this week. Danielle, over to you.
Hey, everybody. I'm sure most of you have heard the House passed a bill yesterday that provides $320 billion more for the PPP program specifically. So if you have already applied and you are in line with your financial institution, you should stay in that line. I'd also encourage you, depending on where you're at in that process, to look for an additional lender. I have applied myself through a very small bank. I think they're in New Jersey. I'd actually never heard of them before, but I was able to get funds pretty quickly through them, which is the similar story being told by a lot of business owners who have used the smaller, more community-like banks. So I would actually recommend that you look at Lendio or at Cabbage with a K. If you are not able to get any assistance through them, I know they've been pushing applications through like crazy. If you use QuickBooks, they're also offering to accept applications and submit them to various financial institutions for you. So those are some three pretty commercial-like options that I've had a lot of reports of good things coming from those three places. QuickBooks is pretty new to the game, but they are pretty on top of it from what I've heard. So that's really my update. I also want to mention quickly that if you have been getting the unable to determine payment status or eligibility message via the Get My Payment tool on the IRS website regarding your stimulus check, you should check again today. A number of people have reported to me that they were not able to enter any of that information yesterday for direct deposit information, but they were able to enter it as of this morning. So just a reminder, make sure that you are not on that website repeatedly throughout the day. The IRS is only updating it once overnight. So trying 27 times throughout the day is not going to get you any sort of different result. So I would encourage you to not participate in clogging up the traffic on that any more than it needs to be. So if you need any additional information on that, or you want me to help you walk through the process with either the stimulus check or additions with the new PPP funds, definitely get in touch with me. You can schedule an appointment with me on my website at drydentaxres.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Dryden Tax Res. All my information is there, and you can send me a message that way as well. So happy to take any questions if there are any.
Yes, we have one question, and this is Darren too. You're welcome to step in here, Darren, and ask the question yourself or do the dialogue. When should funds be available? And if we applied for PPP, should we apply anywhere else?
So funds for PPP, unfortunately, I don't know the answer, but I know that once your application has been reviewed, that people are receiving funds within a week. So not from the time they applied, but from the time that they've received notice that their application has been reviewed by the lender and has been submitted to the SBA. That was my personal experience. I was one of the lucky ones, and I was able to get funding pretty quickly. And that was my experience, and that's consistent with most of the other business owners that have received funding as well. If you applied for PPP, should you apply somewhere else? It's up to you. I know that a number of the banks have been continuing to process applications that they hadn't already reviewed. And once the SBA opens up the application process again, then I imagine there will be a flood of applications coming through for approval. So I would definitely not withdraw any applications you've submitted. But if you are able to submit additional applications, I would recommend that you strongly consider doing so. Will the money from big corporations that has been returned be redistributed? I should hope so, but there isn't any information about that just yet, David. I would imagine that money will go back in the pool. I know Ruth's Chris, as well as Shake Shack, had major disbursements from the last round of PPP funding, and they have both regardless of your opinion on why, they have both started the process of returning that money. And also, the Secretary of Treasury, Mr. Mnuchin, has also very strongly recommended to publicly traded companies that they also return their funds, as they have access to other streams of capital that small businesses need access to this PPP more than they do. So they need to give the money back and give that money to someone else. So yes, I imagine it will be redistributed. There's absolutely no information on that just yet.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, it looks like we have no other questions. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.